Now we start with the new chapter, alternating current. Now so far what we have studied is based on steady current or direct current. That means that current is constant. It is not varying with respect to the time. That we have called steady current or the direct current. Now we are using the source of energy to the households and factories and all other industrial purposes. That we are using this one is it is an alternating current, AC source. Now here the voltage or the current, they are varying with respect to the time. Its magnitude is not at all constant. It becomes zero, reaches a positive maximum and decreases, and once again becomes zero, reaches a negative maximum and decreases and becomes zero, and this cycle goes on repeating. Now this current which changes periodically with respect to the time, which changes its direction periodically with respect to the time, is called alternating current, and the corresponding voltage is called as alternating voltage. But we are using the nomenclature AC current and AC voltage. Now this nomenclature has been used for a long period of times. Alternating current, alternating current voltage. It is a little bit like confusion. But we are using that one for a longer period of time. Therefore, once again, we are continuing the same thing, AC current and AC voltage. Okay. Now, in this chapter, we are going to study what is the AC, that is alternating current and alternating voltage. What are its average value, RMS value, peak value, and mean value in a half cycle. What is the energy loss? What is the power dissipation? What happens when an AC signal is applied to a pure resistive circuit, an inductive circuit, a capacitive circuit, or the combination of the three, that is LCR circuit? What is the resonance phenomena, and what are its uses? All these things we are going to study in this. What are the advantages of AC voltage over the DC voltage? Now we have AC voltage at one column and DC voltage at the other column. Now we are going to study two important advantages of AC over DC. The first important advantage, now this is AC voltage, it can be easily and efficiently converted from one voltage to other voltage. That is the first advantage. By using a device called transformer. So here this AC voltage can easily and efficiently converted from one voltage to the other desired voltage. By using a device called the transformer, we will study in detail in this chapter lastly. Okay. Now transformer is a device which can increase the voltage or decrease the voltage. If the transformer increases the input voltage, then it is called step up transformer. If the transformer decreases the input voltage, then it is called step down transformer. Now that can be done easily and efficiently in the case of AC, but it is not possible easily and efficiently convert from one voltage to the other voltage in the case of DC. Now second one, it can be economically transmitted from one place to the another place. Another longer place. Now this AC voltage which is generated at the generating station, which can be economically transmitted with a low cost through the transmission lines from one place to the another long distances places. Now, but in this case, it is not possible. It requires a high economy. There is a huge loss of energy, and that cost of transmission is very high. Now, these are the two advantages of AC over DC. But one thing you should remember, all the devices which we are using, basically the electronic devices, they require DC, not AC. For example, your mobile charge, it requires only a 12 volts battery, which is a DC. And you are nowadays using LED, LCD TVs, they are requiring DC. And all electronic goods, electronic materials, they require a DC and not AC. But how can you get that DC? Just we are using a converter which converts AC to DC. Even though all the devices are using the DC, but this AC has two important advantages over DC. Now those two advantages are listed below. In simple language, you can see we are using AC signal in radio and TV sets. If you are going to tune a station in a radio, in that circuit we are using AC circuit. That is the resonance circuit that we will study later onwards. In tuning a TV channel, we are also using the AC circuit. Now that is regarding the introduction. Now we will study an AC voltage applied to a resistive circuit as shown in the figure. Now before going to study that one, an AC source is denoted by this symbol. We are using this symbol for the AC source. Okay. Now here, yes, it represents the sine wave. Now what is the circuit symbol of DC source? We know already familiar with this one. Now DC source, it is having two parallel lines. One is of larger length and another one is of shorter length. The larger length line represents the positive of the DC battery, and smaller line represents the negative of the DC battery that we know. Now in the case of DC, we are representing the direction of the current. It is flowing from positive terminal through the external circuit and to the negative terminal. But in the case of AC, we are not showing the direction of current. Why? Because it is AC which continuously or periodically changes its direction. At one moment it is flowing along this clockwise direction. In the next moment it is flowing in the anti-clockwise direction. Since its direction is repeatedly changing, in the case of AC circuit, we are not representing or showing the direction of the current flow. You should remember that one. Now this is AC source and this one is DC source representation. Now let me consider a simple circuit. Now in this circuit, we have an AC source. Now this is AC source of EMF E. AC source of EMF E. And the AC voltage is represented by or is given by the equation V is equal to Vm into sine of omega t, where V is the instantaneous voltage. Now here onwards, the EMF is represented by the voltage. So therefore this V represents the instantaneous voltage of the AC source. It is the voltage at any given instant of time, because it is varying, no, that's why it is not constant, is equal to Vm. In sometimes that Vm can also be denoted by V naught, which represents the peak value or maximum value of the voltage, AC voltage, peak value or the maximum value. And omega, it is the angular frequency, and T is the time. Now this equation represents an instantaneous value of AC voltage. Let me call this as equation 1, which is applied across a resistor of resistance capital R. Okay. Now we have to work out what is the expression for current in that simple AC circuit. Now the expression for current is obtained by using Kirchhoff loop rule. By applying Kirchhoff loop rule to that network, we will get the sum of the variation in EMF in the entire circuit, that should be is equal to 0, that we are familiar in the third chapter itself. V minus I into R is equal to 0. This is the EMF or the voltage applied, and this is the IR drop across the load resistor. Their sum should be is equal to 0, or I into R is equal to V. I into R is equal to, substitute for V, that is Vm sin omega t. Therefore, the expression for current I is equal to Vm by R into sine of omega t. Now let me introduce a new quantity here. V by R, it is according to Ohm's law, which is nothing but the current. Since we are using Vm, that is the peak value of the voltage divided by the resistance, therefore this I will write it as Im. I is equal to Im into sine of omega t. Now this is the expression for instantaneous current flowing through that AC circuit. Now let me call this as equation 2. Now here equation 1 represents the instantaneous voltage applied across the resistor, and the corresponding expression for instantaneous AC current is given by I is equal to Im into sine of omega t, where Im is equal to Vm by R. It is the peak value of current. It is the peak value of current. Here peak value of voltage corresponding to that one, we are having a peak value or the maximum value, and it is called as amplitude. It is also called as amplitude of the current. Now carefully look at the two expressions, equation 1 and equation 2. Now it is the instantaneous voltage and the corresponding instantaneous current whenever AC is applied across the load resistor R. For the instantaneous, for the maximum peak value of voltage, we are having corresponding maximum peak value of current. Now this instantaneous voltage is not steady, it is varying with respect to time. It is having a sine function, therefore the voltage signal, it varies according to the sine wave. Similarly, the current is having the term sine omega t. Therefore, the resultant current flowing through that circuit also varies according to the sine wave. Now we study the graphical representation of the AC voltage and current. Now along the y-axis we are taking the voltage or the current. Along the x-axis we are taking omega t, that is the frequency. Now we will locate 4 points here. Okay. Now first one is 0, it is pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2 and 2 pi, 4 points. Okay. Let me take the voltage. Now this voltage initially becomes 0 as sine value becomes maximum at 90 degree. Therefore V becomes Vm, reaches a positive maximum. Vm, voltage becomes positive and reduces to 0 at 180 degree and further increases to negative maximum at 270 degree minus Vm and reduces to 0. Now this cycle further continues. Now that is a voltage signal. Correspondingly, we are having a sine wave function for the current. At 0, its value is 0. At 90 degree, its value becomes peak value, that is I is equal to Im. Now that is represented like this, Im, peak value of the current. Further increase in the angle, it reduces to 0. Now further increase, reduces to negative maximum and reduces to 0, and this cycle continues. Now their yellow line represents the current wave pattern and the pink color line represents the voltage wave pattern. Now here we are having a negative maximum. Since both the functions are having sine function, they start from 0 simultaneously and reaches a positive maximum at pi by 2 as shown in the diagram, and reaches simultaneously 0 at 180 degree pi, and reaches a negative maximum at 270 degree, and reaches simultaneously 0 at 2 pi, and this cycle goes on increasing. Since they are varying simultaneously, the voltage and current in the case of AC source applied to a pure resistor circuit are in phase. They are said to be in phase. Phase means they are simultaneously changing. They are in phase. If you write the x-axis in terms of time period, if capital T is the time period of oscillation, then x-axis can be written as, here this one becomes T by 4, 1/4 of a cycle. Now this point becomes T by 2, half of a cycle. Now the third point obviously becomes 3T by 4, 3T by 4, 3/4 of a cycle, and this one becomes capital T, that is one complete cycle. Now this is the positive cycle, half cycle, and this is the negative half cycle. Now that is the graphical representation of variation of voltage and current, AC voltage and current, whenever an AC source is applied across the load resistor R. Now can we work out what is the average value of current? How can you work out the average value of current? We have to take all the instantaneous values over one complete cycle, add them and divide it by, because we are having one positive cycle and another one is a negative cycle. Now look here carefully. For any value at any particular interval of time t, we have an instantaneous value of voltage, let me call it as V1. For this particular value of positive voltage, we have a corresponding negative voltage minus V1. For any instantaneous value of voltage or even the current in the positive half cycle, there is a corresponding negative value of voltage or the current in the negative half cycle. If I take the voltage For positive value of voltage V1, we have a negative value of voltage minus V1 corresponding value. If I take the current for every positive value of current I1 for the corresponding time period, we have a negative value of current minus I1. Similarly, if we take out all the instantaneous values in the positive half cycle, for every positive value of current in the positive half cycle, there is a corresponding value of current in the negative cycle of current. Now, if you add all those values, then sigma I or sigma V, if you take the current, it is sigma I, if you take the voltage, it is sigma V, becomes 0. Therefore, average current or voltage over one cycle is 0. The average value of current or the voltage in one complete cycle is 0, because for every corresponding positive value we have a negative value. If you add them, it becomes 0. Since average current is 0, do you think that there is no power loss, there is no current flowing in that circuit? There is a current flowing, there is a power loss. Now that power loss is given by Joule heating effect I square R. That power loss is given by P is equal to I square R. Since we are having here I square term, not I term, we are using I square term. Even though we are having negative values, if you square it, then we will get a positive value. Obviously, there is a power loss in the circuit. That instantaneous power loss in the circuit is given by I square R. You should remember this one. Now we will work out what is the average power loss in this pure resistive circuit. That we will work out. Now this power loss is given by this simple relation. Now P is equal to I square into R, where I is the instantaneous value of current. We know this relation. Now substitute that one. P is equal to Im sin omega t whole square into R. I will rearrange the terms. Therefore, instantaneous power is equal to Im square into R and sin square omega t. I am splitting the terms. Now here Im is peak value of current, it is always a constant, and R is the external resistor, which is also a constant. What is the variable quantity? Sin square omega t is the variable quantity. Now we have to work out average power. Now that is represented by bar P. Average power is represented by bar P. That is given by, we have to use this notation for averaging this right hand side term. That is Im square R sin square omega t. Since Im square R is constant, Im square R is taken out, we have to work out what is the average of sin square omega t. We have to make the average of sin square omega t over one complete cycle. In order to work out this one, we use some trigonometric function. In general, f of t is a function, then its average is given by integral from 0 to time period t. It is 1 by t of with respect to dt. Now this we will study in mathematics. If you have a function f of t, then the average of function over one complete cycle is given by integral from 0 to t 1 upon t f of t into dt. In the same manner, we have to work out what is the average of sin square omega t. Now we will use one trigonometric function here. Cos 2 theta is equal to 1 minus 2 sin square theta. Now cos 2 theta is equal to 1 minus 2 sin square theta. Sin square theta, this is the trigonometric function one we are using. From this one, how can you write sin square theta? Now sin square theta can be written as it is half into 1 minus cos 2 theta. It is half into 1 minus cos 2 theta. Now if you use this notation here, then I am having Im square r average of half 1 minus cos 2 omega t. It becomes cos 2 omega t. Now half into 1 is half. It is constant. Im r into by 2 minus Im square. Im square r divided by 2 into average of cos 2 omega t. This is the average. Now average of sine function or the cos function over one complete cycle, as we have studied, its value is 0. Its value becomes 0. Therefore, average power is given by Im square r divided by 2. That is the average power. I will write here. Therefore, the average power dissipated in the AC circuit is Im square r divided by 2. This is the power loss in the circuit. Now in the case of DC, we have power loss is P is equal to I square R, capital I square R, where I is the DC current. In case of DC, we have this expression. In the case of AC, we are having Im square R by 2. In order to write this expression similar to that of DC expression, we are introducing a new quantity, that is IRMS. It is the RMS value of current. It is the RMS value of current. By that notation, this power can be written as average power is equal to IRMS square into R. IRMS square into R. Now comparing these two expressions, now I will get here. Now comparing these two expressions, in the case of in here we are having IRMS square, here we are having Im square by 2. Now comparing the two, I will get IRMS square is equal to Im square by 2, or what is IRMS? Is equal to Im by root 2. This is the one of the important relation between the RMS value of the current to the peak value of the current. Now this RMS value of current is also called as effective value of current. Now if you work out what is 1 by root 2, I am getting IRMS is equal to 0.707 Im. It is 0.707 times the peak value of the current. Now if this is the current graph, if I work out the RMS value, it comes around at this stage. This is IRMS value. Now here 0.7 times the peak value. 0.707 times the peak value, that represents the RMS value of current. Now this RMS value of current is taken as a steady current. Now based on that one, we are going to define what is the RMS value of the current. Now RMS value of current, IRMS, it is that DC current or steady current, IDC or steady current, which produces the same heating effect as produced by the AC current flowing through that resistor. I will repeat. RMS value of current is that steady current which produces the same heating effect passing through it as the AC current producing the same heating effect at the same interval of time. That is important. Interval of time should be the important. Or in other words, RMS stands for root mean square. Why we have introduced this concept? Now look here. We have the instantaneous values, different instantaneous values. I1, I2, I3, etc. For the corresponding instantaneous values in the positive half cycle, we have a corresponding negative values, minus I1, minus I2, minus I3, etc. If you add them in order to calculate the average, we will get 0. Sigma is 0. That means there is no current flowing. It is not that meaning. In order to overcome this discrepancy, we are using square of the instantaneous values. If you square all the positive values, we will get a positive. If you square all the negative values, then also we are getting the positive value. That is I1 square plus I2 square plus I3 square, etc. plus minus I1 square plus minus I2 square plus minus I3 square, etc. We are squaring all the instantaneous values, either the positive or the negative. Now these negative instantaneous values after squaring becomes positive quantity. Then we are adding all them and dividing it by the number of terms, number of the instantaneous values. Now that gives the average of square of the instantaneous values. Then we are going to taking out the square root, and this square root of this value represents RMS value. I will clear. We have the instantaneous values in positive and negative half cycles. We are squaring them. We will get this expression, and taking the mean value of all these squared instantaneous values. I am getting this mean value here, and finally I am taking square root of it. Since we have initially squared, we are taking the square root of it. Now this square root of this final expression represents RMS value. Root mean square. It is the square root of the mean of the square of the instantaneous values. Square root of mean of square of all the instantaneous values taken over one complete cycle is called as RMS value. For the current it is IRMS, for the voltage it is VRMS. Clear? Okay, let me study this one. Therefore, we are having IRMS value is equal to IM by root 2 or 0.707 IM, the relation between RMS value and the peak value. Similarly, we have VRMS is equal to VM, it is VM by root 2, that is 0.707 VM. Now what we are using the power source, AC source, they are mentioning it by RMS value of voltage and the current. They are not at all representing the peak value, they are mentioning it by RMS value. For example, in India, we have 220 volts, 220 to 240 range, okay? Now this 220 volts means it is the RMS value of the voltage. That means VRMS is equal to 220 volts. They give the RMS value of the AC source. Clear? You should remember that one. If this is the case, then what is the peak value of the voltage? Peak value. From this relation, what is the peak value of the voltage? Vm is equal to root 2 into Vrms. If you work out with the help of a calculator, that is 220, and root 2 is 1.414 into 220. I will get 311 volts. Now this 311 volts, it is the peak value here. In the graph, it is 311. Then what is 220? It is like this, 220 volts. It is the RMS value of the voltage. Therefore, AC source of 220 volts means it is the RMS value. Similarly, current is also RMS value. It is not the peak value, you should remember. So therefore, the power can be written as the average power bar P is equal to, it is Vrms into IRMS. In terms of peak value, it is Vm by root 2 into Im by root 2. Our average power is Vm into Im divided by 2. That's what we are getting. Okay. RMS value of current multiplied by the RMS value of voltage gives the average AC power dissipated in that circuit. There is a power dissipation in this given circuit. Now we work out a simple problem. A light bulb is rated at 100 watt for a 220 volt supply. Find the resistance of the bulb, B, the peak value of the source, and C, the RMS current through the bulb. Now solution. Now given here, the average power of the bulb rating is given. Now power is 100 watt. For a 220 volt supply, now look here, 220 volts means it is the RMS value of the voltage. Vrms is given. Now in the NCERT textbook, Vrms can also be represented by capital letter V. For simplicity, IRMS can also be represented by capital letter I. For simplicity of the notation, they are using it. Okay, you can make use of that one. Now Vrms is given, that is 220 volt. We have to work out what is the resistance of the bulb. Resistance of the bulb that we have to work out. Then peak value Vm, peak value of the voltage we have to work out, and RMS value, IRMS value of the current. These three things we have to work out. Now first one A, since the power is given, now power is equal to Vrms into IRMS, or it is Vrms square divided by R. Vrms square divided by R. Now how did you get this one? Whatever the equations holds good for the DC sources or DC currents, the same thing equations holds good for the AC currents also. Only thing, there we are using DC voltage and current. Here we are having RMS value of AC voltage and the current. That is the difference. Okay. Now resistance R is equal to Vrms square divided by P. Vrms square is 220 whole square divided by P is 100. Now 22 square is 484. Since we have been having 1 0, after squaring we are getting 2 zeros. Very simple. Divided by 100. 2 0 cancels. Therefore it is 484 ohms. That bulb is having 484 ohms of resistance. That is the first part. Now second part, peak value of the voltage. Now peak value or amplitude of the voltage, Vm is equal to, in some textbook they will write it as V0. Vm or V0 both are same. Okay, both represents the maximum value, that is root 2 into V RMS, that is root 2 value we know 1.414 into V RMS value 220 volts. If you work out with the help of a calculator, I am getting 311 volts. 311 volts. It is the peak value or the maximum value of the voltage. Third part, we have to work out what is the current, RMS current. IRMS, that we have to work out. Now we know that the average power is equal to VRMS into IRMS. Therefore, IRMS is equal to the power dissipated divided by RMS value of the voltage. Okay. Now power is 100. RMS value is 220. If you work out with the help of a calculator, I am getting the RMS value of current is 0.45 amps. Now this amount of current is flowing through that circuit. Very simple problem. Okay. Next we study representation of AC current and voltage by rotating vectors called phasors. Just we have studied in the case of a pure resistive circuit, whenever AC is applied, the voltage and current are in phase. That means they are rising from zero simultaneously, reaching the positive maximum simultaneously, and reduces to zero simultaneously, and reaching the maximum value, negative maximum value simultaneously, and reaching zero simultaneously. That is, they are in phase. In order to represent that one, we are using rotating vectors. The AC signals are represented by rotating vectors, and those rotating vectors we call them as phasors. What are phasors? Phasor is a vector which rotates about the origin with an angular speed of omega. Phasor is a vector which rotates about the origin O with an angular speed of omega. Now the voltage phasor, here it is represented by the capital letter V. Therefore the capital letter V with a vector notation, or simply capital letter V, it represents the voltage phasor. And similarly the capital letter I with a vector notation, or simply capital I, represents a current phasor. Now these are the rotating vectors which rotates about the origin with an angular speed of omega. Now if the voltage and currents are rotating about this origin, then correspondingly we are getting a wave pattern, sine wave pattern, which is shown in the diagram B. Now in the diagram A, it is the voltage and current phasor diagram. So here voltage and currents are simultaneously rotating. There is no lagging or leading between the two. They are simultaneously rotating. Therefore, they are in phase. What is the phase angle between them is 0. Phase angle between voltage and current in the case of pure resistive circuit is 0. They are simultaneously rotating. As and when they rotate, we are getting the sine function. We are getting the sine function. One thing you should remember, voltage and current are scalar quantities. But the AC voltage and currents, they are represented by a vector notation in order to understand the phase concept. Don't get confused with the vector quantity and phasor quantity that we have studied earlier. So here, even though voltage and current are scalar quantities, in order to study the phase concept between the two, we are representing them by a rotating vectors. Clear? They are the scalar quantities. Now, here the amplitude of current is equal to Im into sine omega t1. It represents the current phasor. Now here the amplitude of the V. Now here this height Vm sin omega t, it represents the voltage phasor.